talk about the number one thing to do to cultivate your motivation. So, if you're joining me for the first time, say hi below where you're from. Like to give shout outs during the show and do the social media thing where you like, follow, share wherever you're watching this video. Yeah, so we'll leave that at that. So, like I said, today's topic is the number one thing to do to cultivate your motivation every day, because when we can create the motivation that we need to, further our careers, to further our relationships, to get into the best health that we possibly can, then we have a success superpower. Because, when you have motivation, you're unstoppable, you can focus, you can get into those flow states, and when you don't have it, it's when distraction wins the day. It's when, you don't do your best work, or you're just going through the motions and you lose that sense of joy in what you're doing. And that's one of the things that we talk about a lot here at Sean Butner High Performance Coaching is how do we cultivate more joy? How do we cultivate more happiness in our days? Because if we're not doing that consistently, then, life can be really flat, and we don't want that, So, the days when you can't get out of bed, the days where you just don't feel like getting to it, are the tests that we have on can we win the day, can we advance what we need to advance, or are we just dead in the water? So motivation, when I talk about it with clients, sometimes we talk about it as kind of like a plant. You need to water it at the appropriate times. You need to have time for it to grow, and you have to take care of pests and weeds so that it's strong and undeniably unstoppable when you need it, right? When you need to harvest the fruits. I need to really think through that metaphor maybe a bit more, maybe not work it through, ad-lib some extra stuff on a live cast today on a Thursday. But anyways, it is Thursday, right? Yeah. So if motivation is really important, and your ability to manipulate and change the energy of your motivation, what's the number one thing you can do every day to build that undeniably strong, indestructible, unstoppable motivation? So the thing to think about is, one of the biggest factors in motivation is momentum. So when you have a little bit of action behind you that's leading you towards, that awesome, more intimate relationship, that, killer beach body that you're going after, or, advancing your career or helping your clients in your business. When you have a little bit of momentum, it's much easier to, feel motivated, because you got a little bit of juice behind you. And I don't know why I said juice, but I did deal with it. So basically the number one thing to do every day is to figure out what's going to increase your momentum, right? And so in order to increase your momentum, you need to make some decisions. This is why the number one thing to do every morning is to journal and plan out, connect with what you're going after, and think of the one big thing you can do right in the morning to advance your day. So you start that client letter, you start that marketing campaign, you finish that one function in your code, things like that, and then just see where the rest of the day leads you. If it helps, complete a major project or goal that you're working on, it's going to be good. And if you're consistently doing just one thing every day, first thing in the morning when you start your work day, or whatever, start the date with your spouse, then you'll build a little bit of that momentum, and you'll be more motivated to continue and to get into that flow state. So if you feel stuck, like you just don't want to do anything, because we all have those days, it could be, decide to take a break and regroup, or decide to say, hey, I'm in a really bad mood. I'm still just going to do this one thing before I go and take a really long walk outside or do my workout, or whatever type of strategy you use to manage that type of energy. But the real, I guess, the whole thing that I'm trying to say is get into action, do something, even if it's really small, that advances a goal, and you'll see how your energy shifts and how a bad day could turn into a really productive day just by getting a little bit momentum. So that's the message I wanted to share this morning with you guys. Go out there, create more joy in your life, find more personal growth, and have a greater impact in your communities. And I'll talk to you guys tomorrow. Take care.